Hey, it's me, Hrishikesh Kannan, popularly known as Hrishi K. Subscribe to my YouTube channel and hit the bell icon now to get the latest videos and get taken into a world of entertainment, culture, sport, business, and current affairs.
My father always used to say that back in the day, journalists were in search of the truth. They were very socialistic in their ideology. So that figure of the journalist with a khadi kurta and a jhola was actually true. Journalists were middle class boys or lower middle class girls in search for the truth. And these days, you find television journalists with farmhouses in Delhi, living in high rises in Parel with duplets. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. Everybody has the right to make money. But do you feel that money has diluted the whole quest for the truth that used to happen in the good old days?
Yeah, see, I think in good old days, I think most of us were middle class, not just the journalists, even as a society, basically, we were middle class and we are happy, we are content. It wasn't like, I think what happened is basically once the economy opened up post mid 90s and all that, basically, money has become too important for all of us.
Yeah.
It's like, in good old days, money was not equated with the amount of respect which you would have in society or the amount of knowledge you have. Like right now, one thing is basically you have started equating knowledge with the information. Whoever has the information thinks has got knowledge. They're two different things, I believe.
Vinay Waikul is here with me. Hi, Vinay. How are you doing?
I'm good. Thank you. Thank you for having me over. Thank you, Hrishi.
I made a statement to Sonali and she burst out laughing. I said, Vinay seems to have made a wonderful career of getting all you beautiful, talented 90s actresses back for the attack.
No.
So first Raveena and then Sonali. I'm not saying you look old, but yeah, tell me your experiences through the 90s.
So yes, these are the actors we always. I always wanted to work with, Sonali or Raveena for that matter. And I just lucky that got a chance to work with both of them, and I'm happy that both the series have worked very nicely. So yeah, happiness all the way. Yeah.
So you were mentioning Sarfarosh, is it? I mean, is that a movie that really struck a chord in you?
Of course, it did. I'm Sarfarosh for me, I think is the best commercial realistic commercial cinema. It ticks both the boxes. It is realistic at the same time. It works beautifully in terms of the commercial aspect of it, and it's not really easy to make that. It's you need really a very sorted mind like John Matthew Martin to make it. It's very easy to make a commercial cinema. No, I'm sorry. It's sorry. I take my statement back. It's not easy to make the commercial cinema, but there are a lot of people who could make great commercial cinema. A lot of people who would make nice, very interesting, realistic films. Sarfarosh is one very rare example which works on both levels. Like Sholay, Madhumati. These are the films which they work on both levels and they do great. Yeah,
You're
Sarfarosh was one.
absolutely correct. I mean, when I think of Amir's character, when I think of Nasir Saab's character, when I think of Sonali, it just is a complete film for me. What about Raveena? Did you enjoy Satta, which is Madhur's film, or some other film that did you enjoy?
I really enjoy. Shul is one film, and Daman.
Yeah.
So I think these are the films which I really enjoyed. And obviously, uh, uh, obviously there is Pattar Ke Phool, and obviously there are few more as well. But yeah, uh, just it wasn't part of it wasn't part of the design working for them. It was just an accident, but I'm very happy about that accident.
A happy accident, a very
Happy
happy accident. But what I've noticed, especially when I did this wonderful interview with Raveena in Shilim. I missed you there at the Hilton. I did this wonderful interview with her for
right.
Aranyak, and also now with Sonali for the Broken News. And I realized that they are hungry. They are hungry for good performances, good roles, because they've seen that peak, that stardom. right? And now in their second innings, all they want is a well written part, and their work ethic you must really admire. So, from appreciating them in the past, where you and me crushed on them, let's talk about their work ethic now, or Shonali in particular for the broken news.
No, I mean, I just talking to someone some time back, and same point I made over there, that work ethics has been like, that was that culture, where they knew how to, like, the writing, the directing part of it, basically how to respect that. I'm not saying a particular writer or a director, just the giving the respect to the written material, giving the respect to the director, being very disciplined about it. You know, it's something which is, I think, in today's day and age, somewhere otherwise we feel that that culture, generally speaking, is sort of started like vanishing, and like, we have started sort of forgetting that culture. But when I work with Sonali, it just like, it just it's just so nice to work with a huge star. They don't bring that stardom to the set. When they come to set, they are like, they treat themselves like any other actor, like, no hang-ups, no stardom, and that makes the whole environment so positive. That really works for the project, for the scene, for the co-actors, for the director, for the cameraman, for everybody. They just make you feel so comfortable around them, so that, you don't have to think twice before telling her something, asking for something. It's just like, there is no stardom involved in that equation. So it was really nice working with Shonali that way. Same with Raveena as well. I mean, like, it just they're so humble in spite of being huge stars, and which is I don't know whether it's rare. I mean, I won't say that I've worked with too many stars, but at least what I experienced with these people was something which should always cherish. So it was
I asked Shonali, I said, how did you feel when Vinay gave you a bound script? So she said, the first thing that went through my mind is, what is a bound script? Because a lot of time in the 90s, they never got a bound script. The director would come on the set and they would say, ye karo. Of course, Sarfarosh is different because John came from a very advertising background, so he
right,
wanted it scripted. But the other movies that
right,
Sonali did, or even Raveena did, they didn't have a script. So they are also enjoying this new OTT wave, with producers, the studio system, the online wave, and things like that. So I think it works both ways. What you are getting from them and what they are also getting from you, which is a unique level of professionalism. So would you say it's a win-win for everybody?
it is win-win for everybody, definitely, definitely. And I think what happens in the bargain is basically your series, your film starts becoming better, your final product starts becoming better. I mean, it's just like that, the scene, because everybody's on the same page. They know what the writer has thought of, what the director wants. There are enough discussions which are happen, there are enough readings which are happen. So, the process becomes much more productive. It becomes much more cost effective as well. I mean, in spite of all that, if you want to make a bad film, bad series, you can. I don't think that just using these ways will make the film better. But definitely, these things really help for someone who really wants to make good series, good film. These things, being disciplined, having a bound script, doing readings and workshops with the actors, basically, that really makes things much smoother, much easier, and much better. Yeah.
Vinan, now let's talk about the broken news, especially with regard to the news. What is happening in India today? You see, when I did a master's in film, television, radio production. I mean, and in mass communication school, you were always taught that you are supposed to be above judgment. You're supposed to give for the motion, against the motion, give all the facts to the people, and you are not supposed to pass judgment on the news. But the public or the janta should, make up their mind. which is the whole BBC school of old school journalism, which is you put the facts out there, but you don't make a value judgment. Even in debates, you're supposed to take both the points, but you are not to make the value judgment. And the current state of television news is totally different from that. First and foremost, you don't have to take channel names, you don't have to take anchors' names. What do you feel about television news the way it is today? The drama that plays out, the judgment that plays out.
I mean, it's not healthy at all. It's something which is creating a lot of hatred. It is creating divide. It's polarizing people, and that is not something which is expected out of journalism. You know, uh, Having said that, it's also, I think, we as individual, we as society are also responsible for it. Yeah, I mean, obviously, I mean, if you ask any news channel, they would say, but we get great TRPs, so what's wrong in it? And they get great TRPs because we as an audience basically enjoy watching it. So somewhere the responsibility also lies with us as a society as well. We also need to be little more careful. Um, if the news is not spicy, that's fine. Medicine is not tasty always. So you don't have to news is not entertainment. We have started consuming news as entertainment, and that's where I think the problem is. And like, obviously, not only society, obviously the journalist, the media houses as well. But I think, I mean, I have only control over my actions. So as a viewer, at least I need to do my part. And obviously there are news channels. They are doing credible journalism. Maybe they are not that popular, but we also have now, I mean, like, enough avenues. There is online news outlets, and we just need to be a little more careful. We need to be a little more watchful. If that's what happens, we need, like, we have gone terribly wrong in few aspects, as a society, and we need a bit of course correction, all of us. We just need to take a pause, think about this. Why, who's saying what he's saying? Do I need to trust that very blindly? Do I have my own mind? Can I just process this? Can I understand, maybe, why someone is saying what he's saying? Yeah, I mean, we are smart people. I mean, I really believe that we are smart people. We are just, I think, not behaving that smartly. So I think once we start doing that, things will be a little easy.
That's very, very beautifully put. My father always used to say that back in the day, journalists were in search of the truth. They were very socialistic in their ideology. So that figure of the journalist with a khadi kurta and a jhola was actually true. Journalists were middle class boys or lower middle class girls in search for the truth. And these days, you find television journalists with farmhouses in Delhi, living in high rises in Parel with duplets. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. Everybody has the right to make money. But do you feel that money has diluted the whole quest for the truth that used to happen in the good old days?
Yeah, see, I mean, I think in good old days, I think most of us were middle class, not just the journalists, even as a society, basically, we were middle class, and we are happy, we are content. It wasn't like, I think what happened is basically once the economy opened up post, like, mid 90s and all that, basically, money has become too important for all of us.
Yeah.
It's like, in good old days, money was not equated with the amount of respect which you would have in society, or the amount of knowledge you have. Like right now, one thing is basically you have started equating knowledge with the information. Whoever has the information thinks has got knowledge. They're two different things, I believe. And this money obviously can buy certain things. Money can buy certain comforts. Money can buy you good medical facility. Money can provide you maybe good education. So there are certain things which obviously money can buy, but I think money has got too much of importance now in our psyche and our society, and that is something which is sort of working against us. So I mean, earning money giving that kind of comfort to your family, perfectly fine. I don't think there is anything wrong in it. But if you're doing that at the cost of your job,
Yeah, or the
you
job.
know,
Yeah.
yeah, then that's a problem. And again, it's just, I mean, it's see the way it's very easy to point fingers at, like, film stars and film industry. It's very easy to point fingers at the journalist, but generally as a society, I think it just comes back again to us, basically. Like, we need to be like uh, uh, we need to be more evolved. If we are a democratic country, we have got our rights, all that, but at the same time we have got our duties as well. And I think, like, very easily we forget our duties and just speak about our rights. So once we start
Yeah. Duties are separate from rights. You're absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. Vinay, now let's come to the principal protagonist. I mean, it's very beautifully etched. I'm sure it's etched in the original show press also. I haven't seen it. I've only seen Vinay Waikul's broken news, the little bits that I could catch. There's Jaideep Elavat's character, which is the kind of journalist that we were just talking about, is driven by TRPs. And there is Amina, who stands for the truth. Obviously, a journalist who's gone through the whole grind on location reporting from sites, from war zones or Mantralaya or wherever it is, then becoming a producer, then an anchor, and in between is somebody like a Shreya Pilgaonkar, who has, had a rough time as an anchor, has become a producer, and is going through a lot of emotional turmoil. The choice of casting these three wonderful actors, Shreya Pilgaonkar, Sonali Bendre, as well as Jaideep Ahlavat, can we say, give you all the credit for it, or would you like to say your casting director helped you?
uh, see, no, I mean, I don't want to take credit for anything, actually, because I'll tell you what happens. Like, in a process like filmmaking, there's so many people involved. Like, so many ideas come from, like, the casting director, the producer, the assistant director, the cinematographer, the production designer. It's a very collaborative process, generally, filmmaking. So I would say even the casting process was very collaborative. I mean, obviously, casting director suggested the names. Producer and the platform was also part of, at least, the protagonist, the main role casting. So it's all of us together. I won't take credit for it, but what I loved about this casting, that uh, all of them brought in certain credibility to the characters. Like, Dipankar, in spite of, like, being the way he is, you don't end up hating him.
Yeah.
You also understand the human side of the characters. And, like, this happened only because they are primarily fabulous actors.
Yeah.
I mean, like, they could bring in that depth to the characters. So the casting process was interesting. Like, we went back and forth on certain things, all that. When you sort of, once you have written the script, you also don't have that clarity what would work the best. But once, like, you have got one, then you get another one, and then, like, like, suddenly the magic, suddenly the chemistry, you start experiencing that chemistry. So yeah, I'm really happy that we finally went ahead with these three people, and they have done justice, more than justice, to their characters and to the series. They've taken the series to the next level, I would say. So,
Did you get on the phone with your friends in news channel saying, "Boss, aisa kaisa hota hai, waisa hota hai"? Did you have a news consultant?
yes. Yeah, I spoke. I mean, like, I don't want to take the names, but I mean, I have a friend of mine who used to work as editor in chief with one of the credible channels. I spoke to him a couple of times. I went and visited his office as well, just to understand how things are. Um, yeah, even the writer basically comes. He doesn't come from the news background, but he's a IMC student, so he also knows a lot of people who are in this world, not just in Mumbai, in Delhi as well, Noida as well. So, so all that helped. All that helped to make it as realistic as we could make it. So yeah.
Vinay, is there a leading man from the 90s you want to work with? I'm saying man now, leading man from the 90s after Raveena and Sonali Bendre.
he's the leading man of today as well. I really want to work with Amir Khan in life.
Ah,
Yeah, so
lovely,
he's the leading
lovely.
man of 90s. He's the leading man today as well.
Well said. Well said. What do you have to be mindful of? And this is going to be my last question. What is you have to be mindful of when you're adapting for an Indian audience? How do you decide that this in the original show press is something I want to leave out? This is I want to, maneuver. Because there are some things which are very quintessentially British, but some things are universal because we're all human beings around the planet. So that adaptation process, who was your partner in it? Who helped you adapt the screenplay, the scripting?
Sambit Mishra. Sambit Mishra is, I mean, primarily he wrote the script. I've been part of the process, but I won't take the credit for the screenplay. Sambit Mishra, he has written Mission Over Mars with me as well. You know, so when you watch the original show press, when you watch it, both of us felt that, oh, this is a British show, but this seems so Indian as well. Like, these are the problems, these are the things which are happening in our world as well. So see, I don't know generally the process of adaptation because I've done too many adaptations, but I'll speak about the press to the broken news. See, it was, we wanted it to be, we didn't want it to be something which is the alien, like, because it happens in some other world, we have just got it here. We wanted to take the show in, and then make it our own and then bring it out, right? I mean, like, otherwise it would have been like, because it's there in the original show, we have done that. So we have taken a lot of deviations from the original as well. The original show is about the newspaper, our show is about news channels, various things, the issues which they handle, otherwise the cases which they handle, some of them are similar. Obviously some of them are similar because there are parallels which could have been drawn in our world as well, in our country as well. So but one thing which we wanted for sure is basically we wanted this show to be about our city, our world, our country, our people, because otherwise it becomes very, people can't relate to it. Then it becomes something which is like, why are you showing me a problem which doesn't exist here? So we are very mindful of that, and I think from the audience's reaction, I can say it now that it has sort of struck a chord with the audience as well. The kind of things which you're talking about in the show, they don't look British; they look very, very, very Indian. So really happy about that.
The Broken News streams on Zee5, starring Sonali Bendre, Jaideep Ahlawat, Shriya Pilgaonkar, and an excellent cast. It's directed by the wonderful Vinay Waikul. Please watch, give it a lot of love. Thank you for your time, Vinay. This was great fun. Cheers.
Thank you,
Bye bye.
thank you, thank you. See you soon. Bye bye.